And that's right.
Well,
Frank, you're a good man.
Yeah. Enjoyed it?
Yeah. And the more we do, the more opportunity.
Yeah, you can feel a little more comfortable.
Somebody's got to learn how to do it, you know.
What's up, man?
So sometimes in the playoffs, but it's like 8 right over there. But they always have
Good evening and welcome to the 2019 induction ceremonies of the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame, especially to the inductees and their families and friends. Welcome to the Mayor and the City Councilors present, representatives of all our sponsors, and to all previously inducted honored members with us tonight, and especially to all who have come from some distance on this occasion, and we have a number. This is our 15th induction ceremony since the Chatham Sports Wall of Fame was revived in 2005, and the 13th for the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame. With this year's inductees, the wall will have 160 members, including 60 builders, 14 teams, 77 athletes, and 9 pioneers. All the individuals who have been inducted as team members, of course, are recognized as honored members also.
With the glasses.
Board of Directors of the City of Miramichi Sports Hall of Fame has selected 4 athletes, 2 builders, and 1 pioneer to be inducted into the wall tonight. We're very pleased, an outstanding group. The first inductee is Ashlyn Adams. Ashlyn is being inducted as an athlete.
Oh, you're ahead of me, Ashley. Sorry.
Just wait right there, bud. Ashlyn Adams began competing in Special Olympics at 17. He grew to become one of our most decorated international athletes. He participated in a number of sports, but truly excelled in snowshoeing and track. In 2000, as a member of Team New Brunswick, he earned 3 snowshoeing gold medals at the Canada Special Olympics Games in Ottawa. In 2001, he won 2 silver medals at the World Winter Games in Alaska. These achievements earned him the New Brunswick Special Olympics Male Athlete. In 2004, he won a gold and bronze in snowshoeing at the Canadian Special Olympics in Charlottetown. The next year, he picked up a gold and a bronze at the World Games in Nagano, Japan. track, Ashland earned 3 gold and 3 bronze at the Summer Games in Brandon, Manitoba in 2006. In 2007, he won a silver medal at the World Games in Shanghai, China. Truly an elite athlete, Ashton proved to be a great ambassador for New Brunswick and Canada, and of course the Miramichi. The Canadian Special Olympics head coach, Kelly Zakanick, remarked that he always brought his smile and sense of humor with him to the games, but at the same time he brought his best performances. It is only fitting that Ashland Adams be inducted into the City of Miramichi's Wall of Fame on the 50th year celebration of Special Olympics Canada. We welcome Ashland Adams to the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame.
Hello everyone. I would like to congratulate this year's inductees. I would also like to thank the organizing committee for tonight. Thank you to Miss Mack and her class for all their hard work in getting me here. Dave and Sandra, my mother Sharon, and my family for always being there to cheer me on and give me a kick in the butt when I needed it. Thanks to Special Olympics New Brunswick for the chance to compete in the Olympics. All athletes need to work hard if they want to do well, but it takes the support of family, friends, and community to make this all possible. Thanks, everyone.
How's that for special? Our next inductee is Paula Napke Flanagan. Paula is being inducted as an athlete and accompanied by my brother. Paula Napke Flanagan has been and continues to be a dominant force in the local and provincial golf circles. Locally, she was a 12-time Ladies Club champion and a 7-time North Shore Player of the Year. She has been in the top 10 New Brunswick Player of the Year standings for points accumulated for the past 10 years. Her Miramichi Golf Club course record of 68 stood until 2016. Paula has participated in 4 national championships and a Canadian Senior Women's Championship, was a member of the Esterbrook's Cup North team 6 times. In 2017, she was the North Shore and Atlantic Senior Ladies Champion and a 2-time member of Team New Brunswick at the Atlantics. Paula has won numerous tournaments across the province, including 3 New Brunswick 4-ball championships and individual titles at Miramichi, Rescue, and St. Ignace Invitationals. In 2017, she won the Senior Ladies North Shore Tournament. She has also taken home more than 20 two-person scramble titles. Along with her husband Pat, a 2017 Wall inductee, Paula was able to win an amazing 16 mixed golf tournaments. For the past 5 years, she has served as the ladies president on the board of directors for the Miramichi Golf and Country Club. These accomplishments make Paula Napke Flanagan a welcome addition to the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame. We welcome Paula Napke Flanagan to the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame.
and members of the Wall of Fame executive. I can't believe that 34 years ago, I was going to the golf course only because I was really taken with my husband, who was really taken with golf. He asked several times for me to try hitting a club. Oh, you like this one, it's a driver. Don't be afraid to hit the ground and just keep your head down. Meanwhile, I was looking up at the sky for clouds, hoping that it would rain at any time. Hitting a golf ball as a beginner and it landing on the green is an amazing feeling. So when you hit a few in a row, 5 years into it, it quickly becomes an addiction. And to quote my mother, I've been chasing that little white ball ever since. I've met so many great people playing this sport from all over the province and country that when a season starts, it's like a reunion at every club. Seeing ladies for the first time, our tournaments begin. There have been so many friendships and playing partners formed over the years that I am so fortunate to be part of. One whom I'd like to thank is John McIver. You and I have played together as long as Pat and I have, and spent many a Friday afternoons playing on the course, and before I would go to a tournament, and you would give me all kinds of great advice before I start that tournament. Thank you for coming tonight. Kelly Marr, thank you for being here tonight and celebrating with me. Your friendship is valued both on and off the course. To the Miramichi Golf and Country Club executive, thank you for being here tonight as well, and for all your support. My parents are here with me tonight, very fortunate. They are both my biggest fans. Returning from tournaments, they always ask and have words of encouragement and congratulations no matter how I played. Actually, my whole family always asked how I played. Brothers could tease, even if things didn't go well, and brother-in-laws would tell me that I'm a home course player. That same brother-in-law was the person who nominated me for this award tonight. Thank you, Johnny. It is also so great to have so many of my family members here tonight to celebrate with me. My husband Patrick has been playing this game since he was 14 years old and was inducted 6 years ago. When we started dating, he was passionate about it, and I knew if I wanted to see him, I would have to be seeing him on the golf course. Well, it's been great to be able to share this passion with your spouse for this long and hopefully for years to come. But as time, I'm sure he thinks he created a monster, as I have to make time for him between tournaments through the summer. Thank you for teaching me this game, supporting me, and being a great partner both on and off the course. It's been great having a coach with benefits. We live on the 16th hole of the Miramichi Golf and Country Club, and we can be on the first tee in 3 minutes. How lucky are we? Whether you play golf or not, having this course in the middle of our little city is a big part of Miramichi heritage and character. Being part of the executive of the club that has existed for over 90 years is something that I'm very proud of, and very proud to call our second home, or I guess it's supposed to be our home club. It's really, really a great honor and very exciting to receive this award tonight. And now that I am a senior woman in this category, yes, Michael, I did admit this, hopefully I can still have some chances to be very competitive. Thank you very, very much.
Our next inductee is Laurie Gregan. Laurie is being inducted as an athlete and represented by his sister Carla Burns and his brother Olin Gregan, and they're being accompanied by Ken Martin. All right, Laurie Gregan was a well-known maritime sports figure in the 60s and 70s. Grinder, a naturally gifted athlete, will be long remembered by teammates, opponents, and fans for his engaging, charismatic personality. Laurie was a big, smooth skating defenseman with a booming shot and an uncanny ability to move the puck to an open teammate. His very successful minor career culminated leading the Tommies to a Class L championship in 1971. At the tender age of 15, he was reunited to play for the Dartmouth Lakers junior hockey team. His success there led him to be scouted by the powerful Ontario Hockey League. He enjoyed a productive major junior career with the Oshawa Generals, the Windsor Spitfires, and the Guelph Biltmore Mad Hatters. In 1972, in the Spitfires' inaugural season, he scored the first 2 goals in team history. The next year, he enjoyed a brief stint with the Binghamton Dusters in the North American Hockey League. In 1973, Laurie returned to Chatham to toil with the Chatham Ironmen in the highly competitive North Shore Hockey League. A perennial league all-star, Laurie went on to play with the Campbellton Tigers and was a key player in their 1976-77 Heritage Cup Championship. Laurie was inducted into the Brunswick Sports Hall of Fame in 2001 as a member of this team. In baseball, the big right-hander helped the Chatham Junior Ironmen to a provincial title in 1971 and an appearance at the Nationals in North Bradford. Laurie Gregan, who sadly passed in 2017, is a welcome addition to the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame. We welcome Laurie posthumously to the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame.
Thank you very much. And congratulations to the other inductees. It's a wonderful group here this evening. On behalf of Mom and Dad and the Gregan family, Olin and I are very honored to receive this recognition on behalf of Laurie this evening. I have to admit, it's a fairly daunting task to speak for our brother. Nobody could work a room quite like he could, and I suspect he'll be critiquing our performance here tonight. So, I was not quite 8 when Laurie left for Dartmouth, and Olin left at the same time to go to Fredericton to play with the Tommies. So, you can appreciate, fair to say I spent a lot of my childhood moments in a rink, and that was wonderful. My thoughts of Laurie are very intertwined with sports, hockey in particular. Hockey gave him the opportunity to do something he loved, but the reward was meeting some pretty amazing people and developing some profound friendships. And nobody did friendship like Laurie Gregan. He collected people, and it's exactly what he did. And he had this need to bring people together from all periods of his life, and he wanted everybody to know one another, and all of our lives were enriched because of that. I am sure there are many of you in this room who've received a phone call from Laurie as he was driving between Miami and West Palm, and God forbid he was traveling from Florida to New Brunswick. I'm sure all of us would have received a phone call. It was probably one of his most endearing qualities. He never hesitated. When he thought of somebody, he just reached over and dialed that phone and connected. And that was pretty special. I've been told since Laurie's passing that he possessed an energy that was too large to belong to one place. And I think he'd agree. Laurie lived in a lot of cities, and he certainly preferred the South to live in. But make no mistake, Miramichi was home. The people who shaped him at a very young age and supported his sports journey are right here. And those are some of his deepest friendships, and many of you are here this evening. At Laurie's wake, the family was stunned by the number of people who shared with us that when Laurie would visit home to Miramichi, you know, he drops by. Laurie comes and sees me every time he's home. And it was, you know, it was such a testament to his attachment to this community as well as to the people in it. So Laurie's last road trip of life was a pretty tough one. It's exactly 2 years ago when, as the consummate defenseman, he launched probably the greatest offense of his career, and that was fighting a deadly brain tumor. So many of you that are here tonight came right alongside of him on that journey and visited in Ottawa post-surgery. When he moved to the hospital in Halifax, so many of you visited him there. And then when we brought him home to the river, there was a lot of you that are here tonight that were there with him. So, you know, the love and the kindness and the sharing of some really great stories was just amazing, and our family will be forever grateful.
I'll be quick. I was going to tell a few stories, but that'd take till tomorrow dinner time. Yeah, Laurie'd certainly be pleased being inducted with the slate of inductees here this evening. And I was sitting there a little earlier and I thought, you know, Lord Beaverbrook, Mother God, if we reflect for a minute on how much enjoyment we've had, the accomplishments we've created, the lies we've told, and how it provided a path to many people to be here tonight, performing in buildings with his name on it throughout New Brunswick. It's been incredible. And whoever nominated him should be a shoo-in for the hall when time comes. Not to repeat anything Carla said, it needs not repeating, but bears a lot of repeating in some instances, but you know, Laurie was, and he showed me how to be a friend many times. And when you look around tonight, God, he'd love to be here, but you know, some of his great old friends are here. People have come from far and wide. Carol and I have fielded many phone calls and emails, all wishing they could come. You know, we've got ex-mayors here from a couple of the northern cities. We had a cousin flown in from Fort Mac, and as handsome as he is, because he was told today he looked like me. We have a couple of his old buddies that have been kicking around with him now for 50 years. Guys like Brian McKenzie, played in St. Catharines, and Frankie Bathe from Portland, Maine, one of the original Broad Street bullies. And if you think you ran into Gritty outside, yeah, Frankie will tell you it wasn't him, but Berkey on Hockey Night in Canada said that Gritty was inspired by Frankie Bathe. So I don't think we should argue with that one. I'd like to thank Pete Nevin and his committee for Laurie's induction. We have somebody that was around our house since we came here in 59 or 60, and there's a funny story Mom remembered a couple of weeks ago. She said, is this fella going to be there? I said, oh, I'm sure, Mom. Anyway, it goes that Mom was giving Laurie a tremendous dressing down in the kitchen for something or other. Probably because he just missed being on Jimmy Doyle's honor roll or something. I forget that. But anyway, the dressing gown went into overtime, and the door opened and it said, "Who was there but Kinga?" Councillor Brian King wanted to know if it was okay to come in. Is it okay to come in? I want to thank Brian for doing the legwork on Laurie's nomination. It was very nice for him to do that. I'd like to thank Donnie Wrigley for the lovely sketch that he did. And I've had many people comment on that, and I believe he's captured the essence of Laurie much better than the photograph from which he did the sketch. So, so that's great. And Laurie'd never forgive me. He'd get me in some way if I didn't mention two young fellows, one of which happens to be here tonight. And the other fellow was supposed to be, but he got waylaid somewhere. But Laurie, as we grow and arrive at this stage in your life, there's people that have been very important and mentoring along the way. And these two guys meant a lot to Laurie. So he loved the two of them. One is Coach Greg Morris, and the other is Coach Red Ouellette from Grand Falls. And I don't know which one's going to take credit for the good and who's going to take credit for the bad. Anyway, that's up to them. So anyway, in closing, on behalf of Joey, Laurie's son, Mom and Dad, Karen, Carla, Gord, and I, and our children, we thank you very much for bestowing this honor on our brother. Thank you.
A wire or a letter from Fred Smithers, a friend of Laurie's, who listed a lot of Laurie's great traits, pretty well verbatim, a lot what Carla said, but he wanted to extend his congratulations and all family. Also have another little bit of a bird walk here. I wish to mention that Hockey New Brunswick this year is celebrating its 50th anniversary, out of 50s. Hockey New Brunswick started in 1968 when it broke away from the Maritime Hockey Association. It now governs 12,380 minor hockey players, including 720 females. Also governs 250 junior players, 370 seniors, more than 500 officials, and 4,000 coaches and volunteers. The game of hockey continues to grow in the province. The next inductee is Rich Leggett. Rich is being inducted as an athlete. Rich Leggett was one of the most talented pitchers from the Miramichi to ply his trade in the U.S. pro ranks. Rich started in Chatham's minor system as both a pitcher and a shortstop. An accomplished hitter, he was the batting champion of the Brunswick Junior League with a .510 average in 1976. The next year, as a 19-year-old, he led the Chatham Senior Ironman to New Brunswick and Maritime titles with a perfect 10-0 record, including 3 key playoff wins. These performances drew the attention of Major League scouts, particularly Murray Cook, director of the Pittsburgh Pirates farm system. He signed a professional contract with the Pirates in 1978, played 9 years of professional baseball with the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Atlanta Braves, and the Minnesota Twins organizations, making it all the way to AAA, one step away from the big show. Rich accumulated a 40-34 record with 28 saves and a very respectable .339 ERA throughout his pro career. In 1991, he returned to the Chatham Iron for one more season. He was inducted into the Brunswick Hall of Fame in 2006, Brunswick Baseball Hall of Fame in 2006, and the Chatham Ironman Honor Roll in 2011. A resident of Tampa, Florida, Richard continued his career in baseball, coaching at Florida College from 1997 to 2008. There he recruited a number of Miramicheers, providing them with scholarships while refining their baseball skills. Rich Leggett has been a role model for Miramichi athletes and is a welcome addition to the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame. And all the way for this event from Tampa, Florida, we welcome Rick Leggett to the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame.
I missed my eyesight. I thought I was going to be able to read this with my contacts, but apparently not. So, well, I appreciate the invitation to be here tonight. I wanted so very much to come and be with the people of my hometown. I want to thank Greg for the kind remarks. I know I was a spirited young man when we were associated, and if I was such a good hitter, how come you didn't let me get up one time? Yeah, I guess Guy Sorrell should have let me get up one time. Yeah, Guy was a better hitter than me. Couldn't hit the water if I fell out of a boat. I want to also say that, you know, I want to congratulate the people who have already received awards. Carla, Oli, I was the recipient of one of those calls when Lori was on the road, and he just called me out of the blue, just wanted to talk. And I mean, we weren't big friends, but I'll tell you, I really appreciated him thinking of me, like when he was, you know, doing whatever he was doing. So I appreciated him very much. I wanted to be here tonight because I want to express my appreciation. I want to express my gratitude to my hometown. I can't think of a more ideal place to grow up than right here on the Miramichi. I, as a small boy, loved the outdoors. And I enjoyed living here because of the outdoors. I roamed in the woods as a little boy. I fished in the brooks. And I swam in the river every summer, almost every day. It was a wonderful place to grow up. Played every sport. And I'd like to tell you that my motivation was purely out of the love of athletics, but it wasn't. I was equally determined to stay out of my dad's store. I hated that place. If I was told to sell one more gobstopper, I would have ran away from home. I really did not like working in my dad's store. But I had a joyful childhood growing up. And, you know, I left here in the spring of 1979. And a lot of water has flowed under that bridge out there since those days. And you know, if I came here tonight and stood here and said, you know, that everything that Greg just mentioned, that I accomplished all of those things, you know, all on my own. If I said that was just a pure individual effort, then I would be exposing myself as being extremely arrogant, and I'd also be not telling the truth. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the people of this good town prepared me for what I was going to experience, not just in athletics, but in the other things that I've experienced in my life. My parents, my coaches, and my teachers prepared me for the future, because that's what good people do. That's what good people do. They get their children ready for the future. And they gave me the tools that I was going to need to survive the challenges that happen in everybody's life. You all gave me the tools. The good people in this town did exactly that for me. They gave me the tools that I needed to make it in life. And I especially wanted to be here tonight so I could say thank you in person for those services that were rendered onto me, because you love your children. And I was the recipient of those good things, and I can't hope to repay those things that I've been given. Home, ladies and gentlemen, is a special word. And it's a special word because it's just packed with meaning, and it's packed with emotion. Now, I don't know about what it means to you, but home to me means family. It means brothers and sisters who love each other. And they pull for each other. I have there's 7 children in my family, and I know they've all loved me and they all pull for me to be successful, and I do of them also. It also means a mother and father who are committed to each other through thick and through thin, and there's been lots of thick and lots of thin. And they hung in there 60, almost 65 years. And that exemplifies family to me. Family also means connection. Family means connection because we're connected to the past. And we're connected to the past because of all the stories we hear about the people who have come before us, how they set the table for our experiences. We're connected to the present because we're living day to day with each other. And we're also connected to the future because we had children. And now we have we have grandchildren. I have eight grandchildren. And I tell you, I can't think of a more proud experience or an accomplishment than having children and having grandchildren. I love those kids of mine, and I love the grandchildren. And I plan to be doing whatever I can to help them in their futures. Home means safety. And we had a safe environment here in this town. It's a sanctuary, it's a haven of rest. It's a place where we can go and rest for just a little while from the storms that are raging in life. That's what home is. And finally, home is a place where we know everybody, and everybody knows us. They know our strengths, and they know our weaknesses, and they love us anyway. That's what home is. And I've been lucky enough to experience that here on the river. And like Greg said, I live in Tampa, Florida. I've been there a good long time. But you know what? Right now, I'm home. I'm home. And I want to thank you people for giving me a place to call home. God bless you all, and thank you for the invitation.
Our next inductee is Lord Beaverbrook, William Maxwell Aiken. Lord Beaverbrook is being inducted as a pioneer and being represented by Vincent Prager and accompanied by John Cock. In 1979, he moved to Newcastle at the age of 1. It is well known that Max Aiken always considered Newcastle his home. He was a born entrepreneur who had a gift for making money, a successful businessman, a newspaper owner, and a politician. He played a major role in the Allied victories in both World Wars, which eventually earned him the title Lord Beaverbrook. His contributions as a sports builder were many and varied. Locally, he contributed to the cost of construction and maintenance of the Sinclair Arena in Newcastle and the Lord Beaverbrook Arena in Chatham. These facilities allowed the Miramichi community to enter the mainstream of sports and recreation in the province. It led to the growth and development of each community's minor hockey as well as other athletic programs, while providing a base for a strong university hockey program at St. Thomas University. Other athletic facilities constructed under Lord Beaverbrook's largesse included the Lord Beaverbrook Arena in St. John, the Lady Beaverbrook Arena in Fredericton, the Lady Beaverbrook Gymnasium at UNB, and Sir Max Aiken Pool at UNB. The Miramichi sporting community owes Lord Beaverbrook a huge debt of gratitude for his contribution. It is an honor to welcome him to the City of Miramichi Sports Hall of Fame. We welcome Sir Max Aiken posthumously as Lord Beaverbrook to the City of Miramichi Sports Hall of Fame.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Lord Beaverbrook would be 140 years old this year. I am not Lord Beaverbrook. But I am very honored to be here on behalf of the Beaverbrook Canadian Foundation here in Miramichi this evening. Miramichi, which was the boyhood home of William Maxwell Aiken, Lord Beaverbrook, and to participate in his induction and to say a few words. I was told I have 4 minutes maximum or I'm pulled off the stage. To say a few words about the man and his numerous achievements while he was alive, as well as in the 55 years since his death. Before I say those words, I'd like to say how honored he would be and I am to be part of the group of other inductees this evening. As you just heard, Lord Beaverbrook was born in rural Ontario, but he moved with his Presbyterian minister father, his mother, and 9 siblings to what was then called Newcastle when he was 1 year old in 1880. He always considered Newcastle his hometown. It was in Newcastle at the age of 13 and later in Chatham that the future newspaper baron began his newspaper career. Although his business and his political life took him to England after making an initial fortune in Montreal and becoming a millionaire at the age of 30, he never forgot his roots right here and returned to Newcastle and to New Brunswick every year of his life. The reason I'm here, by the way, is that I'm one of the 4 directors of the Beaverbrook Canadian Foundation, which he set up, and which I'll talk about in a minute, just in case you're wondering what I'm doing here. I'm not a member of the Aiken family. In fact, I'm the only member of the foundation who isn't. Anyway, about 2 years ago, I received an email from Steve McCauley of the Downtown Merchants Association asking if the foundation might consider helping in the revitalization of the Queen Elizabeth Park. I knew very little, if anything, about the park, and so I asked him, why? Because you own it, came the response. No, we don't. Yes, you do. No, we don't. Yes, we do. That was the exchanges back and forth. And finally, Steve sent me the deeds, and he was right. It was news to us. We had no record of this in our books at the foundation. And in fact, Lord Beaverbrook was gifted the square in the early 1950s. He then gave it to his wife, Christopher, and just before his death, and she in turn gave it to the Beaverbrook Canadian Foundation. As I say, it was a surprise to us, so I was dispatched to Miramichi, a couple of meetings with Mayor Lorden, and a written agreement that helps when you're a lawyer. I could do the written agreement with the city, so we continue to own the square that the city runs and luckily insures it. Luckily nobody hurt themselves or sued us in the intervening years because we had no insurance on this place. And if you look at the beautiful brass plaque we in the foundation paid for to the city of Miramichi, and hopefully there will be a continuation of such things in the future. And I have now personally become a Miramichier, because while making the initial visit and on the way to see Lord Beaverbrook's home with Mayor Lorden, I noticed that the old courthouse highway was for sale, and I fell in love with it, and I now own it. Stay tuned for developments. Lord Beaverbrook was not only a newspaper baron, and I know also now from tonight about how much of a sports contributor he was as well, but he was also an eminent politician. He won a seat in the British Parliament in 1910 at the age of 31. And contrary to what is stated in the other sheets that were written, he became a lord shortly thereafter. He was in his early 30s when he received his knighthood and began sitting in the House of Lords. He continued his links with Canada by arranging during World War I to, through the Canadian Records Office, which he ran, to send artists to the battlefronts to record the carnage and life at the front. The magnificent Canadian War Museum in Ottawa, which I hope you will all have a chance to visit, and which the Beaverbrook Canadian Foundation supports, now boasts an amazing collection of war art, which is called the Beaverbrook Collection of War Art. So I do hope you'll go and see it. Lord Beaverbrook also commissioned the 6 amazing murals on the walls of the Canadian Senate, if you go up and have a look at them. So he was not only interested in art and sports and the newspaper world, so many other things, and philanthropy as well. If I could turn the page, I can continue. I think my secretary glued this together somehow. Come on. There we go. No? There. During the Second World War, he was in Churchill's war cabinet as the Minister of Supply as well as of Information, and he met almost every day with Churchill. He was an indispensable member of the British government and of the overall war effort. His former home, Churchillage, south of London, I had the pleasure of visiting several times, and his office and library remained exactly as it was when he died. And he met with Churchill in that room virtually every day during the war. And he was really an amazing man, and it's sad that people around Canada, maybe not so much in New Brunswick, but elsewhere in Canada, know so much more about the American people like the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts, and so little about our own Canadian heroes. This induction is different because it reflects the pride of this community in one of its great sons, who started with nothing and rose to be one of the most important people in the world. And I'm honored to represent this multi-talented and amazing product of this community in this ceremony on behalf of the Beaverbrook Canadian Foundation. Thank you.
Our next inductee is John Sullivan. John is being inducted as a builder, as accompanied by Darlene O'Donnell, and his presentation was being made by Tasha Hamilton. John Sullivan has been one of the strongest influences on the growth and development of sports in the community of Chatham Head. He began his involvement 45 years ago as a coach in the minor baseball program. He has coached at every level up to intermediate with the Chatham Head Tigers. He has served as an executive member of the Miramichi Rural League for more than 10 years, the Zone 6 Commissioner for Baseball in New Brunswick, an executive member of the Chatham Head Tigers, chairman of the Chatham Head Old Timers Association, as well as a board member of the Chatham Head Recreation Council. The sporting facilities in Chatham Head have seen tremendous growth and development over the years, and much of this success can be attributed to John's hard work and commitment. The Waldo Henderson Baseball Field is a first-class lighted facility which includes a baseball museum. It was used to co-host the Canadian Senior Baseball Championships in 2015 and will do so again in 2019. John also spearheaded the development of 2 Little League fields. His ability to acquire government grants and coordinate workers proved to be invaluable. In 2004, he was awarded the Anthony Gauguin Memorial Award for volunteering. He also received the Community Service Award for the Miramichi Old Timers in 2009 and 2018, and the City of Miramichi Volunteer Award in 2006. His efforts and commitment make John Sullivan a welcome addition to the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame. We welcome John Sullivan to the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame.
Thank you, Greg, and thank everyone. It is an honor and a privilege for me to be here tonight as an inductee into the Miramichi City Sports Wall of Fame. And I wish to extend my gratitude to the board for this opportunity. When I heard about my acceptance to the wall, I thought about my parents and all the time that when I was growing up we used to catch in the front yard. And we had a porch there, and on the porch it was made up of 100 9x9 panes of glass. And I thought about all the balls that went through there and the apples that we either hit or threw those panes of glass, and how many times they were repaired. And I guess that's why I never became a pitcher in the league. I'm honored to be among the great class of 2019 inductees. I congratulate my fellow inductees on their tremendous accomplishments and their inductions tonight. I would especially like to congratulate Paula, as we grew up on opposite ends of Main Street in Chatham Head. And our families have been intertwined through sports and school for many years. I do not recall seeing Paula ever swing a golf club, but you can see by her accomplishment, she can hit it straight and true. So I know she could give me some tips, because when I'm on the course, my swing, I do the Army style. It's right, left, right, left. And then sometime I'll get to the green. So I'd also like to thank Rich Leggett for a memory that I always remember, and I really don't know why, and after I tell you, you'll wonder, like, why would anyone ever remember this? But we played a game against Chatham, and Rich was pitching, and he beat us on a 2-hitter. I think the score is going to be 10-0 or somewhere in that range. But anyways, I got up 3 times against him, and I saw 9 pitches. Oh, you already know where it's going. So 3 strikeouts to my credit, or to his credit, I'm not sure. And I'm going to say that the 8th pitch, I hit a screaming line drive down the 3rd base line, and the umpire called it foul when it was fair, but it was only a weak ground ball that didn't get out of the first base batter's box. But Why I would remember that, I have no idea. It would be something that you would think you'd want to forget. So thank you, Rich. The other day I was at the LBA to watch my niece Isabel play high school hockey. And her brother Andrew was there. And Andrew was looking at the pictures of all the past inductees up on the wall, and he said, "Johnny, they're going to put your picture up on the wall." And I said, "Yeah, that's right, bud." And he said, "Where are we going to put it?" So while we were looking for a spot, I said to Andrew, "What would I say if I was going to speak about you when I'm up here?" And he thought for a bit, and he said, "I like to help out, and then I'm part of the group." And the more I thought of that, I could see that this characterization fitted me perfectly also. I have been blessed by having a tremendous support team around me, starting with my parents, who raised a large family, but were not around long enough to see all of their plans they set in motion come to fulfillment. Mom and Dad were great supporters of their community, and baseball and the Chatham Tigers were high on their list. We were all taught at an early age to help out in your community wherever the help was needed. Sherry Anderson once said, "Volunteers don't get paid, not because they're worthless, but because they are priceless." In the 80s, we hosted invitational baseball tournaments, and we would put on a breakfast every Saturday and Sunday morning and have a banquet on Saturday night. And my mother looked after everything there, ordering, cooking, serving, and all my sisters were at her side. So we started volunteering at an early age. And my circle of family and friends started with this great foundation. I have 9 sisters and 4 brothers. And I proudly say that they're all here tonight with me for this induction ceremony. I can't start taking roll call or anything like that, it'll take too long. But Margaret has flown in from Cambridge Bay to be with me here tonight. And my sister Eileen has flown in from Toronto to be with me. And the rest are all in the Maritime, so everyone has traveled, and I thank them all for that. And they are all giving back in their own communities, wherever that may be. And this is the greatest base that anyone could have, and I thank them all for their love and support they have given me through the years. As a group, we have been able to do many things, and I know that a ready-made team able to handle any situation is just a phone call away. I also have many nieces and nephews here tonight, and I thank you for being here and know that you are well on your way to living the family tradition of helping out in your communities. I would like to thank my wife Elaine for all of her love and support she has given me. She has become a dedicated volunteer in our groups, but her volunteering also started at an early age, keeping score for her father Buddy's ball teams in Napan. She's told me that she scored Jason Dixon's first strikeouts in organized ball in the Miramichi Rural Baseball League. When I started coaching, that was the league I started in. And I would always strive for my team to play the game hard, to play the game right, to respect yourself, and to give everything you have on the field. Now, during those times, we kept usually 20 players on the team. And there were many times that Fidel Gauguin and I would get all 20 players into 2 vehicles and head to the visiting ballparks. That just doesn't happen today. Also, at that time, it cost $25 to register your team for provincial play in Baseball New Brunswick. And this year, if you had a team of 20 players, it would have cost you $1,500 to register that team, plus $10 for every coach. Times have certainly changed. But what has not changed is that there is always somewhere where you can make a difference in your community. There is always someone that you can help. I guess I always thought of this as a way of honoring my parents. I tried to lead by example, to always put my best foot forward, and to do what is the good for all. The following quote sums up many of my experiences as a coach. Too often, we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all which have the potential to turn a life around. I never felt any better than when a player or a parent came up to me after a game or a season and thanked me for helping them and for helping their son or daughter. Just last summer, a former player said to me that I had changed his life. The way I'd handled myself in all different situations had changed his outlook, and he became a better person for it. This was a very humbling experience for me, but you can never underestimate the power of good. When my brother Gerald saw the portrait online, he said it is very fitting that they have you overlooking the ball field. I believe he is right on that. It has taken many years to accomplish what we have so far. Our field, I would proudly say, is one of the best in the province. I am not alone in realizing this goal. It was accomplished by the great group of volunteers of the Chatham Head Rec Centre, the Old Timers, and the Tigers. When visitors and locals walk into our fields, our rec centre, they are amazed at what we have accomplished. Back a few years ago, we formed a new executive at the rec centre with Gary Gogan, Daryl and Rhonda O'Donnell, leading a new group of committed volunteers. You've often heard the saying, when one door closes, another opens. And this was true in our case, as Henderson's store was closing around the time. And there was always a great crowd at the store, and they met there every morning. And we were able to take this crowd from the store, and they became our cleanup crew at the rec. And they are still there today. In my mind, the unsung heroes. Sometimes they are there 5 times a week. I said that the best purchase we ever made was the coffee maker we used there during the mornings. The Old Timers Group is another outstanding organization that I've been part of since 1977. This year will mark our 43rd Miramichi Valley Baseball League Old Timers Tournament. And we have 4 men here tonight who have been with the group since it started. Danny Henderson, Lee Saunier, Sonny Drisdale, and David Malley, who have all done so much for me along the way and to help us achieve our objectives. I would like to thank all 4 for what they have done. Turning the Waldo Henderson Memorial Ball Field into what it is today did not come easy. There were grant applications, hundreds of hours of volunteer work, and of course, some help from our friend Tilly. One night after all the work was complete, I walked down to the field and sat up in the third base stands past the dugout. I was by myself and the sun was setting, and there was a beautiful reflection on the river. And I thought, wow, how grand is this? I looked around at the field and saw what we had accomplished. And you know, when you do something, you have an expectation of how things will turn out. Well, the field turned out way beyond my expectations. And while I'm sitting there, I think of the Tigers that have all gone to the big green field above us. And I can feel Waldo and Dad looking down on me with admiration. I could hear Willard say, he loved it. Emil said, job well done. And Chick said, it's about time, what took you so long? The field is now in the capable hands of Gary Dunn and Johnny Henry. They have been able to maintain the field in perfect condition. I applaud them. The Billy Sullivan Baseball Museum continues to grow, and we are hoping to add new displays this year. We are still expanding and always willing to help in our community. With the help of our great base of volunteers, our best is yet to come. new initiatives that we have focus on children going back to school and families at Christmas. I consider myself very fortunate to have so many good people in my circle. I thank all of you who have come to support me here tonight. And after this is over, I'm inviting everyone to the rec center. My brother Brent's celebrating his 50th birthday tonight. So all the boys are over 50 and there's a few girls who aren't, so if you can find the girls that aren't over 50, that's your job for the night. But we have music playing from 10 to 1. Everyone here is invited to come up and continue the celebration. I'm going to leave you with this quote from Denzel Washington. At the end of the day, it's not about what you have or even what you have accomplished. It's about who have you lifted up, who have you made better. It's about what you have given back. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Herman Wrigley. Herman is being inducted as a builder, is being represented by Jody Yates and being accompanied by Joe Breen. The presentation is being made by honored member Kathy Maher. Patrick Joseph Herman Wrigley enjoyed a distinguished athletic career spanning nearly 50 years. A native of Chatham, he led the 1920 Chatham hockey team to its first provincial championship and Chestnut Cup as the team's goaltender. In 1922, he moved to the U.S. to play goal for the New Haven Bears. In 1926, he joined the New Haven Eagles, a new Can-Am team, for their inaugural season. In 1927, he moved his family to Philadelphia to play for the Arrows, the city's first professional hockey team. Herman served as the team's trainer and backup goalie for 3 seasons. In 1931, Herman took a job at Yale University as the head athletic medical trainer, a position he held until his death in 1968. He worked with elite NCAA and Ivy League athletes in hockey, baseball, football, and lacrosse competition at the most state-of-the-art facilities and iconic settings of his time. From the Miramichi to the cover of Time magazine, Herman experienced more than most would ever dream of. He was part of the first NCAA baseball tournament and the first Frozen Four hockey tournament. Yale baseball captain George H.W. Bush once referred to Herman in a letter postscript. Rig was a great trainer, a great man. But Herman never forgot his Miramichi roots. Each summer he would return to the river with his family. It is truly fitting for Herman Wrigley to be inducted into the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame. We welcome Herman Wrigley posthumously to the City of Miramichi Sports Wall of Fame.
And I'm Herman Wrigley's grandson. Thank you so much for having us all here this evening. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate all of tonight's inductees for their incredible accomplishments and well-deserved inductions this evening. Congratulations. 100 years ago, my grandfather Herman Wrigley led the Chatham hockey team to their first provincial championship as the team's goaltender. And with that Chestnut Cup victory, a career was launched. On to New Haven he went with his good friends, the Vino brothers, to play professional hockey, where the sport was just in its infancy in the States. and Herman was among one of the first. Yet, with a growing family, Herman decided to accept a position at Yale in New Haven as the head of the equipment and medical trainer for the Eli's hockey, a job that he held for 37 years. Along the years, Herman always supported his alma mater, St. Thomas, and their athletic teams through Vance Toner, by bringing equipment from Yale each summer when he visited. Although only 5 when my grandfather died, I always felt a certain kinship with him, whether it was growing up in the years that I also played goaltender, just like my grandfather. Now, I may not have many memories of my granddad growing up, but do know someone that does. His niece, my cousin, Kathy Mahar, another Wall of Famer here in the Miramichi. Happy birthday, Kathy. Kathy was influenced over the years when each summer Herman would arrive with what seemed at the time to be many endless supplies of sporting goods. Her frequent visits to New Haven and Yale University also inspired her to pursue a degree in physical education. And we all certainly know where that. In closing, I would like to thank the Board of Directors for recognizing my grandfather, Herman Wrigley, as one of your city's sports builders. And I would also like to thank the residents of the Miramichi for always welcoming our family each summer with open arms and kindness. And on behalf of the Wrigley family, it is with great pride and pleasure that we celebrate Herman Wrigley tonight for being a great ambassador and builder for his hometown of New Brunswick, Chatham, New Brunswick. Thank you so very much for this great honor. I really appreciate it.
As we wrap up the 2019 ceremony, we have several announcements. Please be patient. First, we ask you to print your name and email address on the event ticket. There's a spot there if you look at it, and leave it in a basket over there by the bar at that entrance. It's important that we keep track of our members. We ask all inductees or their representatives to meet at the front here for pictures, and please bring your awards with you. As you pick up your coats at the coat check, please be generous to the Miramichi Ground Search and Rescue who have donated their services tonight. We also invite all to mingle and enjoy a few moments together. The cash bar is open. Thanks for attending. Good night all.
Walk in front of you. Okay.
Oh my God. Bye, Paula.